The air in the hospital room smelled of cleaning supplies and dry heat. A ceiling fan spun slowly overhead, making a soft clicking sound, but it did little to cool the hot Abuja morning. Amina lay on the thin bed, her body burning with fever. The sickness had come quickly in the night, making her weak and shaking her with chills under the rough sheet. She turned her head, the plastic tube in her hand pulled tight. Next to the bed, on a hard plastic chair, sat Tari. Her 5-year-old son was asleep, curled into a small ball with his head on his knees. He looked so small in the dim light. Amina swallowed, her throat felt dry. She reached for her phone on the metal table. Her hand was shaking. The screen showed 7:45 a.m. The interview was at 9 a.m. She called the number she had written on a piece of paper 2 weeks ago. She knew the number by heart, but she looked at the paper anyway, hoping she had read the time wrong. She hadn't. The phone rang twice before a woman answered. Mabaso Group Holdings, Human Resources. The voice was clear and professional. "Hello," Amina said, her voice rough. She cleared her throat, trying to sound strong. "Morning, my name is Amina Bello. I have an interview at 9 o'clock this morning with Mr. Adebayo's team." "Yes, Miss Bello, we are expecting you." "I am calling to ask to change the time," Amina said, closing her eyes. "I am in the hospital. I have a bad fever and I am on a drip. The doctors say I cannot leave yet." There was silence on the phone. It was not a kind silence. "I am sorry to hear that," the voice said, sounding the same, "but Mabaso Group has a strict rule. Mr. Adebayo does not change interview times. The schedule is set weeks before. If you are not here at 9, your application will be cancelled." Amina felt a heavy weight in her stomach. "Please," she whispered, "I have prepared for this. I just need a few days, even tomorrow. I cannot change the rule, ma'am. If you are not here, the spot goes to the next person. Have a good day." The call ended. Amina put the phone down. The sound of the call ending seemed loud in the small room. She looked up at the ceiling. A long crack ran across it, like a frozen lightning bolt in the white paint. She had cleaned floors to pay for the data to send that application. She had walked a long way to the library to print her CV. She had washed her best shirt by hand 3 times to make sure it was clean, and now it was over before she even started. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the ceiling. Tears came out of her eyes, hot and stinging. "I'm so sorry, Tari." Her biggest fear wasn't being poor. She knew how to be poor. She knew how to make rice last and fix old clothes. Her fear was that Tari would never see anything else. She feared that the ceiling with the crack was the only ceiling he would ever know. Amina closed her eyes, the tiredness pulling her into a deep, hot sleep. She didn't see the little boy in the chair lift his head. Tari had been awake since the phone call. He hadn't moved, but he had listened. He heard his mother begging, the hard voice of the woman on the phone, and the sad silence after. He watched his mother cry. It was a quiet cry, which hurt more to watch than a loud one. Tari sat very still until his mother's breathing became deep and even with sleep. The hospital was waking up. Nurses walked in the hall, their shoes squeaking on the floor. Outside the window, the sound of Abuja traffic was starting to grow. A steady hum of cars. Tari looked at his mother's face. It was shiny with sweat. She looked older than she was. Tari knew that look. It was the look his mother had after cleaning all day. It was the look of being very tired. Tari got off the chair. His feet touched the cold floor. He was only 5, but he was smart. He knew that money was hard to get. He knew that the interview was the most important thing. His mother had talked about it while cooking, while getting him ready for school. "This is the way out, Tari, the big glass building." Tari looked at the worn cloth bag on the floor. His mother kept that bag safe. Moving quietly, Tari opened the bag. Inside was a hairbrush, a bottle of water, a small book, and a clear plastic folder. Tari took the folder out. It held papers with black writing. His mother's name, Amina Bello, was at the top in big letters. Tari held the folder to his chest. It felt smooth. He looked down at himself. He was wearing his sleeping clothes. That would not do. If he was going to the glass building, he had to look smart, like his mother wanted. He opened his small backpack. Inside were his best clothes, a clean blue shirt and beige trousers. His mother washed them carefully. Tari changed quickly, putting on the shirt and trousers. He put on his sandals, which were old, but still good. He went to the table next to the bed. Under the phone was the paper. It was wrinkled now, but the picture was clear. A tall building that shone against the sky. Mabaso Group Holdings. His mother had drawn a red circle around Bus 24 on the back of the paper. Tari looked at his mother one last time. He reached out and gently moved some hair from her forehead. "Sleep, Mama," he whispered. "I will go." He took the folder, the paper, and his small backpack. He opened the heavy door of the room and went into the hall. No one stopped him. The nurses were busy. The guard at the front gate was talking to someone selling food. Tari walked out of the hospital gate and into the morning sun. The heat hit him right away, dry and dusty. He held the folder tight to his chest and turned toward the main road. The side of the road was loud. Cars drove fast. People selling things shouted. Smoke came from the back of old trucks. Tari stood on the edge of the path. He was small, not much taller than the wheels of the cars going by. The wind from the cars blew his clothes. He wasn't scared. He had a job to do. He watched the minibuses slow down at the stop. Men hung out of the doors, shouting where they were going. Area 1, Woos Market, Central Area. He looked for the number. A bus stopped quickly in front of him. It was old and white, with green stripes. Painted in white on the door was the number 24. Tari stepped forward. The step up into the bus was high. He grabbed the metal handle, but his grip was weak with the folder in his other hand. "Hurry up, small boy," the man at the door shouted, hitting the side of the bus. A hand reached down from inside. It was a big, strong hand. Tari looked up to see an older woman with a kind face wrapped in a colorful head tie. The woman pulled Tari up easily and put him on, the seat next to her. "Where is your mother?" the woman asked, looking out the window as the bus moved into the traffic. Tari adjusted the folder on his knees. He sat with his back very straight. "My mama is at the hospital. I am going to the big glass building in the central area." The woman frowned. "All by yourself? Where is this building?" Tari held up the paper. The woman took it, looking at the picture and the address. Her eyes got wide. "Mabaso Group. That is in the central business district. That is far." She looked at Tari again, really looking at him. She saw how serious he was and his neat clothes. "Why are you going there, my child?" "My mama is supposed to have a job there," Tari said. His voice was clear and calm. "She is sick. If she doesn't go, they will cancel it. So I am going." The woman's face became soft. She moved on the seat to make room for Tari. "You are a brave boy," the woman said softly. She patted Tari's knee. "Don't worry, I go past that place. I will tell you when to get off." The ride took 40 minutes. The bus drove on a wide road, showing the big rock, ASO rock, standing tall in the distance. Tari watched the rock. It looked very big and strong. Inside the bus, people talked about many things. The air smelled of fuel and people. But Tari stayed quiet, his hands pressing the plastic folder flat. Finally, the bus slowed as it got to the business area. The buildings here were different. They were tall and clean. The roads were smooth. The woman tapped Tari's shoulder. "Look," she pointed. Ahead of them, rising above everything else, was the building from the paper. It was made of blue and silver glass, reflecting the sun. It looked very high. "That is the place," the woman said. She told the driver to stop. "Okay, get off here. Be careful crossing the road." Tari jumped down onto the path. The bus drove away, leaving smoke. Tari stood alone on the sidewalk. He looked up, up, up until he felt dizzy. It was the biggest building he had ever seen. He took a deep breath, smoothed his blue shirt, and began to walk toward the big glass doors. The room inside was very cold. That was the first thing Tari noticed. The air smelled nice, like soap. The floor was very shiny stone. He could see his shoes in it when he looked down. Men and women in dark suits walked fast, looking at phones, carrying bags. Their shoes made loud clicks on the hard floor. No one looked at the little boy in the blue shirt. It was like they could not see him. Tari walked to the middle of the room. There was a desk there, very big and white. Behind it sat a woman typing on a computer. Tari walked up to the desk. It was higher than his head. He stood on his toes, but he still couldn't see over it. He waited. Then he knocked on the white wood. Knock, knock, knock. The typing stopped. The woman stood up and leaned over the desk. Her name tag said Fatima. She looked down, surprised to see a child standing there with a big folder. "Hello?" Fatima said. Her voice was kind but confused. "Are you lost? Where are your parents?" Tari shook his head. "I am not lost. I am here for the interview." Fatima blinked. She looked around the room, expecting to see a parent running over. But there was no one. "The interview?" "Yes," Tari said. "For Amina Bello, at 9 o'clock. Fatima looked at the clock on the wall. It was 8:50 a.m. She sat down and typed on her computer. She saw the name. Amina Bello, 9 a.m. Marketing associate. She looked back at the boy. "Amina Bello is your mother?" "Yes, she is very sick. She is in the hospital," Tari explained. "She called, but they said no changing the time. They said if she doesn't come, the job is gone." "So I came." Fatima stared at him. In 5 years working at the front desk, she had seen sad people. She had seen people beg and shout. She had never seen a 5-year-old boy stand tall, trying to save his mother's job. "You came to do the interview?" Fatima asked gently. "Yes," Tari said. "I have her papers." He lifted the folder as high as he could. Fatima felt sad for him. She picked up the phone. She was not supposed to call the top floor for things that were not planned. The CEO, Bayo Adebayo, was known for his strict rules. But Fatima looked at Tari's neat clothes and his brave face, and she called. "Mr. Adebayo's office," an assistant answered. "This is Fatima at the front desk." "I need to speak to Mr. Adebayo. It's important." "He's getting ready for a big meeting. He said no interruptions." "Tell him he needs to come down to the front desk," Fatima said strongly. "Tell him there is someone he needs to see with his own eyes." On the top floor, Bayo Adebayo frowned when his assistant told him. He was 32, sharp, and always busy. He built Mabaso Group by being fast and focusing on numbers. He did not like surprises. "A child?" Bayo asked, standing up. "What is this?" "Fatima says you must come, sir. She says it's important." Bayo sighed, looking at his watch. "Fine, I'll give it 2 minutes." He walked to the elevator, not happy. The doors opened and he went down. When the doors opened again in the lobby, the first thing he saw was the small boy in the big room. The boy was standing by the desk, holding a plastic folder. He looked scared, but he was not moving. Bayo walked across the stone floor. The staff got quiet when they saw him, but the little boy just watched him come. He stopped in front of the boy. He was much taller. "Are you the boss?" the boy asked. His voice was clear. Bayo looked down. "I am Bayo Adebayo. Who are you?" "I am Tari." He stepped forward and gave the folder to Bayo with both hands. "This is for you. It's my mama's paper." Bayo took the folder. He looked at Fatima, who gave him a look that said, "Just listen." "Where is your mother, Tari?" Bayo asked. "She is in the hospital. She has a fever." Tari paused. "She wanted to come. She cried because she couldn't. She said this job is the way out." Bayo looked at the folder, then back at the boy. "So you took the bus here? Alone?" "Yes." "That is not safe," Bayo said, his voice lower. "Why would you do that?" Tari looked him in the eye. He didn't look at his nice suit or his hard face. He looked right at him. "Because Mama works too hard to be sad," he said. The words were simple and true. Because Mama works too hard to be sad. Bayo felt something change in him. He had made big deals. He had fired bosses. But he had never heard a truer sentence. He looked at the boy. He saw the clean shirt. He saw how brave he was. He made a choice. "Cancel my 9:30 meeting," he said to his assistant, who had come with him. "But sir, the people—" "Cancel it." Bayo pointed to a room with glass walls on the side of the lobby. "Come with me, Tari." Tari followed him. He climbed onto a big chair. His legs did not touch the floor. Bayo sat across from him. He put the folder on the table. "Okay," Bayo said, leaning forward. "This is an interview. Tell me about your mother." Tari spoke clearly. He didn't use big words. He spoke the truth. "She works very hard," Tari said. "She cleans houses. She carries heavy things at the market. Sometimes her back hurts so much she cannot stand up straight. But she still cooks my food." Bayo listened. "She is smart," Tari said. "She reads books to me. She helps me with numbers. She went to university before she had me. She says she wants to use her brain again." Bayo opened the folder. He looked at the paper. "Amina Bello, University of Abuja. Marketing. Very good grades. Student leader. It was a very good school record, then 5 years ago it stopped. The rest of the page showed other jobs, cleaner, shop helper. He looked at the dates. The school stopped when the boy was born. He looked at Tari. He was the reason the resume stopped. And he was the reason it was back on his desk. She is a good worker, Tari added. She never steals. She is always on time, and she makes the best rice. Bayo closed the folder. He felt a sad feeling in his chest he hadn't felt in years. He looked at this smart boy who had come across the city for his mother. I believe you, Bayo said softly. Amina woke up to the sound of her own shout. Tari. She sat up in bed, the tube pulling her arm. The chair next to her was empty. The cloth bag was open. The folder was gone. Fear made her cold. She got out of bed, her legs shaking. Nurse, nurse, a nurse ran in. Mom, you need to lie down. Where is my son? Where is Tari? I don't know. I thought he was with you. Amina felt dizzy. She grabbed her phone. It was 1 p.m. She had been asleep for hours. Just as she was about to call the police, a delivery man walked into the room. He was holding a basket and a box. Amina Bello, he asked. Amina looked at him, shaking. Yes? Delivery from Mabaso Group. He put the things on the table. There was a jar with bright flowers. There was a box wrapped in shiny paper, and there was a note. Amina opened the note with shaking fingers. To a strong mother, your son is safe. He is in my office drawing pictures. He did a very good interview for you. Please get well. We have moved your interview to next Tuesday. Do not worry about the time. Bayo Adebayo, CEO. Amina dropped the note. She covered her mouth with her hand, crying. Inside the box were juice boxes and a pack of crayons. Amina called the company number again. This time, Fatima answered. Oh, Miss Bello. Fatima's voice was warm. Don't worry, he is here. He is eating lunch with Mr. Adebayo. He ordered pizza. Can you believe it? The man never eats lunch. He went there alone, Amina asked, her voice weak. He did, and everyone likes him. The driver is bringing him back to you soon. Rest now, Amina. You have a big day next Tuesday. Amina lay back on the pillows. She looked at the flowers. She looked at the empty chair where Tari had sat. She realized her son was smarter and braver than she knew. He had stepped out and done something big for her. A week later, Amina stood in front of the glass building. This time, she did not have a fever. She was wearing her best shirt and a black skirt she had made flat with an iron. Her hair was neat. Tari stood next to her, holding her hand. Are you ready, Mama? Tari asked. Amina looked down at him. I am scared. Don't be, Tari said calmly. Mr. Bayo is nice. He asks good questions. Amina smiled a little. They walked in. Fatima waved from the desk. Welcome back, Tari. Good luck, Amina. They went up in the elevator. The office was quiet and cool. When they reached the top floor, the assistant showed them into the big office. Bayo Adebayo stood up from his desk. He looked different than Amina thought. The picture made him look hard. In person he looked busy, but his eyes were kind. Miss Bello, he said, putting out his hand, it is good to meet you. Mr. Adebayo, Amina said, holding his hand, I am so sorry my son came here and bothered you. He didn't bother me, Bayo said, looking at Tari, who had already gone to a corner with his coloring book. He made my day better. He told Amina to sit. Now, Tari told me why you need the job. He told me you are smart and work hard. But today I want to hear from you. Tell me what you can do. Amina took a breath. She stopped thinking about the rent and the crack in the ceiling. She thought about what she learned in university. She thought about how she managed things when she sold goods at the market. She thought about how strong she had to be to live in Abuja. She spoke. She talked about plans, about what people buy, about how much she wanted to do well. She didn't beg. She showed him she was good. Bayo listened. He asked hard questions. Amina answered them. At the end of the hour, Bayo closed his notebook. You have a gap in your work history, Amina, he said. 5 years. Yes, Amina said. I was raising a child, and I was working to live. But I never stopped learning. I read business news on my phone every night. I know your market. Bayo nodded. I know. He stood up. The job is yours. It is a start, but you can grow. Amina felt happy relief. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me, Bayo said, nodding toward the corner. Thank him. Starting at Mabaso Group was fast and hard. Amina had a small desk. Her computer was old. Some people were not nice. That's the one the boss felt sorry for, Amina heard a man whisper in the food area on her third day. The one with the kid, a woman said. She won't last a month. She has been cleaning houses for 5 years. She can't do this work. Amina stood outside the door. Her face felt hot with shame. She wanted to run away. Then she remembered Tari walking alone to the bus stop. Amina pushed the door open. She walked in, head high, got some water and nodded to the people. Good morning, she said clearly. She went back to her desk and worked. She was the first one there in the morning. She was the last one to leave. She read every file. She learned the computer programs. When she didn't understand, she asked and she learned. She made mistakes. In her second week, she did a report wrong. Her boss yelled at her in front of everyone. Amina didn't cry. She stayed late, did the report again, and left it on the boss's desk for the next morning. She wasn't just working for money. She was working to show that Tari was right. It was 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. The office was empty, the lights low. Amina was still at her desk, working on numbers that were not right. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since morning. A shadow came across her desk. She jumped. Bayo was standing there. He was holding a paper bag. Go home, Amina, he said. I just need to finish this, sir. The numbers aren't right. The numbers will be there tomorrow. Your son is waiting. He put the bag on her desk. Eat. He walked away to the elevator. Amina opened the bag. Inside was a meat pie from a good shop. Amina ate it in the quiet office. It tasted very good. 2 weeks later, Tari woke up sick. The fever was back. Amina held him. She looked at the clock. She had a big meeting at 9 a.m. She picked up her phone to call in sick. She was scared. The last time she called in sick at an old job, she lost the job. Her phone buzzed. A message from Bayo. Fatima told me Tari isn't well. Family first. Take your time. We will cover for you. Amina stared at the screen. She wasn't used to kindness. She hugged Tari tighter. We are safe, she whispered. We are safe. Every Friday afternoon, Tari's school finished early. Amina brought him to the office for the last few hours. At first, the staff was stiff. Children didn't belong in offices. But Tari was smart and polite. He brought his backpack and his crayons. He sat quietly in the corner of Amina's space, drawing. Then he started to walk around. He would walk up to the sad accountant, hold out a sticker and say, You look sad. This is a star for you. The man put the star on his shirt. He told the marketing boss to eat lunch away from his computer. Mama says you must chew your food. By the third Friday, Tari could go anywhere. Security guards liked him. Fatima kept juice for him. He had a spot in the corner of Bayo's big office. He had a cushion and his crayons. Bayo found himself stopping to talk to him. What are you drawing today, Tari? He asked one afternoon. I am drawing you, he said. He gave Bayo the paper. It was a stick person in a blue suit. On his head was a big yellow crown. He was holding many papers. Who is this? Bayo asked. The king of papers, Tari said, because you are the boss of all the papers. Bayo laughed loud. He put the drawing on the wall behind his desk. Months passed. The dry wind season came, making the air dusty. It was a late Friday evening. Most staff had gone home. Amina and Bayo were in the big meeting room, finishing a presentation for a big phone company. It was a big job for Amina. Tari was sleeping on 2 chairs, covered with Bayo's jacket. He was done with his juice. It was quiet and peaceful. Amina finished the last page and stretched her arms. We did it, she said. It's ready. It's good work, Amina, Bayo said. You are very good at this. Amina smiled. She looked different now. She looked healthy and confident. Her clothes were nice. Tari sat up, rubbing his eyes. He looked at Bayo, then at his mother. Mama? Tari asked. Yes, Tari? Can I call Uncle Bayo Baba? The room got very quiet. Amina froze. Her heart beat fast. She looked at Bayo, worried he would be angry. Tari, no, you can't. Why? Bayo asked. His voice was soft. He turned to face Tari. Because, Tari said, you help me when I am tired. You give me juice. You read my book when Mama is working. And you make Mama smile. That is what a Baba does. Amina felt tears in her eyes. She looked at Bayo. He was looking at Tari with a very open and kind face. He wasn't the big boss. He was just a man who was lonely, and a 5-year-old boy had seen it. Bayo stood up. He walked over to Tari and knelt down, so he was at the same level. He put a hand on Tari's small shoulder. "It would be my honor, Tari," he whispered. Amina put her head in her hands and cried. She cried because for the first time she wasn't carrying everything alone. Things changed after that night. Nothing was said out loud to the office, but there was a steady feeling. Amina became a leader in her team. She got a better job title. She ran meetings. She helped new staff. Bayo changed too. He stopped sending emails late at night. He started leaving the office earlier to make sure Amina and Tari got a ride home in his car. They became a team. On weekends, Bayo would sometimes come over to their small new apartment in a satellite town. He would sit on the floor and help Tari build things with blocks. He and Amina would cook, talking about work and life. Amina saw how he looked at them. It was a look of belonging. He needed them as much as they had needed the job. The talk in the office stopped. People respected Amina. She wasn't the woman with the child anymore. She was Amina Bello, a key part of the company. And Tari was just Tari, the son of the company. The end-of-year party was the biggest event for Mabaso Group. It was held in the big hall of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel. There were lights everywhere. Important people from Abuja were there. Amina stood near the door. She was wearing a beautiful green dress. Her hair was done up nicely. She looked proud. Next to her, Tari was looking at the lights. He wore a small blue suit and shiny black shoes. "Look, Baba," Tari said, pointing. Bayo walked over to them. He was wearing a black suit. He looked happy. "You look very smart, Tari," Bayo said. He looked up at Amina. "And you look beautiful." "Thank you," Amina smiled. "I feel good, finally." The night went on, music played, people talked and ate, then the music got lower. Bayo went to the stage. He tapped the microphone. The room went silent. "Good evening," Bayo said. "This year, Mabaso Group has done very well. We have grown a lot." People clapped. "But," Bayo continued, "that is not what I am most proud of this year." He looked into the crowd. He found them, the woman in green and the boy in blue. "What I am most proud of," Bayo said clearly, "was the day a 5-year-old smart boy walked into my lobby with a folder bigger than his chest. He came because he wanted to help his mother. He taught me that courage is not about how big you are." The room was very quiet. "Amina Bello is one of the best people in this company," Bayo said, pointing to her. "But her son, Tari, is the heart of it." Amina felt tears on her face. She held Tari's hand tight. "We look for good people in high places," Bayo said, "but I have learned that good people are found everywhere. And family." He paused, looking at Tari. "Family is not just who you are born with. It is the people who help you when you need it. It is the people who make you brave." He raised his glass. "To Amina and Tari, to new chances." The room clapped loudly. It was warm and real applause. Amina picked Tari up. Bayo walked off the stage and came to them. They stood there, the three of them, under the lights. A mother who worked hard, a son who was smart and brave, and a man who opened the door. In a big planned city, they had found their own place. The bravest steps are sometimes taken in small shoes, and the strongest love just walks into a big building and asks to be seen. If you know someone like Tari, someone who helped you when things were hard, keep them close. And if you are waiting for your chance, remember, hope can come on a number 24 minibus.